The American Hunting Podcast is brought to you by the American Hunting Lease Association. Everything you need to enjoy a safe, successful, and affordable hunting lease all in one place. Resources like their time-tested lease agreements and, of course, the most affordable hunting lease liability insurance policy you can find. Protect your landowner, yourself, and every member of your hunt club with the AHLA's complete risk management package. Better coverage, better service at the best price.
The American Hunting Podcast is brought to you by HuntStand.com and the HuntStand app. Build detailed maps of your hunting areas, then view and share your maps with their revolutionary online mapping technology. Use advanced tools that let you examine and understand your hunting area like never before. Then take it into the field by printing your high-quality, high-resolution, fully customizable map on paper, vinyl, or their durable, tear-resistant, waterproof canvas. Podcast listeners get 20% off their printed maps online at huntstand.com using the code AHLA20. With access to parcel data for 97% of the country, it's never been easier to purchase affordable and highly detailed maps for your hunting properties. So download the HuntStand app, or to print a map, visit huntstand.com. Start mapping now.
I want to start today with a thought.
Okay.
And that thought is, if you are purchasing your liability insurance from somebody other than the American Hunting Lease Association, do you just not want to keep your money? Do you honestly?
Yep.
Do you just want to wait 3 or 4 weeks for your certificate of insurance? You tell me, because I don't understand it. If you are, if you get a free membership to another organization, buy the insurance through the AHLA. And then join that group, you still save money.
You still save money.
You're still saving money. So you're still supporting them. You still get your magazine and your hat and your sticker.
Yep.
But you get better service because you get your certs quicker, so you can hunt sooner. Yeah, it's one of those. I saw somebody on one of those like shows like Shark Tank or The Profit, and the guy, he looks at this business owner, the new one, and he says, "Do you just not want to make money?" Yeah, and it always struck me as odd. But yeah, it's like I said, better coverage, better service, the best price. If you're not with the AHLA, I don't know why. You should give them a call. Give us a call.
We laugh about it internally just because it's one of the things where we're looking at it. We literally did a price comparison chart of everyone else who offers the same sort of insurance, and there's a company for like $600 offering the same thing. Then you got to wait 6 weeks for your certificate, and when you see it on paper, and obviously we're a little biased, but when you see it on paper, it's not even a comparison. It's almost a no-brainer. I think we've obviously used that terminology.
We have. Before, I mean, it's yeah. Hey, that's the way they've always done it. So they feel good. They feel safe. And look, we get it, man. Insurance is not the sexiest topic. We understand. I mean, we've created an entire company really based around that, at least that central product.
Right.
We've got social platforms. We got all kind of stuff that again centers around insurance. We get it.
This podcast.
This is not exciting, and we're not going to talk about it a whole lot longer.
Yeah.
We want to bring you value to other ways, but at the center of everything is taking care of your landowner so that you can hunt. And, that's central to that, and we do it, I know, better than anybody. So anyway,
100%.
Yeah, I will climb down off my virtual.
Well, before we get off there, you got an email. We have the new Guides and Outfitters policy, master policy, and you got an email from a guy that literally said, it cannot, all caps, cannot be this easy. I need someone to call me. And your response is kind of like, how hard do you want me to make it for you?
What do we do? Wait, how much do you want to pay?
I can make it as difficult as you want.
I can. I can set up hoop after hoop. I can send you emails. I can have somebody call you, and then I'll just hold on to your certificate for a month, and then I'll send it to you.
Yep.
But it is that easy, and it could have been that easy the whole time.
Well,
that could have been.
I got an email this morning from a guy that he told me who he was with, and his exact words were, "They've gotten too comfortable. It's time for a change."
I saw the exact same email,
and it really sort of makes me open my eyes and go, "Okay, there's obviously a market for this, and we weren't wrong about our assumptions, but now the key is, getting guys over the hump to say it is this easy, and it doesn't need to be this complicated, and we can get you coverage, and you can be worrying about running your business and make it a profit in really no time."
And we are not here to disparage the entire insurance industry.
No.
So there are some operations that it does need to be a little more difficult. There needs to be more process
and that's why we have qualifying questions.
100% agree. And so we're not, insurance agencies and agents, vital role in this industry. I get it. But there are just too many, in particular, guides and outfitters who fit into a preset category. And I use this analogy in something I wrote not too long ago, and I'll use it here because I've kind of polished it up. But, most guides or outfitters, up actually until last July, all of them had custom written policies. Every guide or outfitter that needed liability insurance went to an agent and they custom wrote them a policy. It's the exact same thing as having a suit tailor-made. You go down to the tailor, you pick out the fabric and what works best for you and how do you look in this, take all of your measurements. They then get the fabric and make the suit. It's going to be a few weeks, but then, it looks sharp. It's custom.
It's
over-the-top custom policy, custom-made suit.
And a custom price.
At a custom price. It's going to cost you.
Yep.
Or the overwhelming majority of guides and outfitters in this country, they all fit into a preset or predetermined measurements, if you will, and they look really good in a suit off of a rack in a nice store.
Yep.
And they can have it right then. It's much cheaper, and it serves the exact same purpose. There's no, reduction in coverage. There's nothing like that. This isn't a lesser program. It's the same program, and you'll look good in our suit.
100%.
I guarantee it.
Now that we got that off our chest.
Yeah, I feel better already.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, man. Cabin fever is killing me. It is kicking my butt. I am ready to get outside, and so I thought we'd spend a few minutes here talking about what can we do to get outside, to get on the lease, to be productive, and to just not go crazy. Last weekend was decent, but it rained all day Saturday.
Yeah.
I had plans on Sunday that kind of kept me at home. This weekend, I'm actually going to Tennessee with my wife. We're taking the camper down. She's got an event. She's running an ultra marathon out of her mind. But, that's her thing. And so I love going with her because we're going to take the camper and then I'm going to be kind of supportive. No, I don't want her to hear this. I'm going to be really supportive.
Yeah, over the top supportive.
Yeah, it just kind of occurred to me yesterday that I should take the camper and then she's going to be running for like 16 hours. That's plenty of time to wash and wax and clean and get it ready to turkey hunt.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing? What kind of things can we do on the lease? We went shed hunting.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's what I do know. A couple weeks ago, we went out shed hunting. Well, we started with coyote hunting, which was...
that was a good 20 minutes. I enjoyed that.
I was going to say, it's kind of funny because you were getting on me a little bit about the way I deer hunt, where I kind of go out and I sit for a period of time and then I'm out. And when you turkey hunt and when you coyote hunt, it's exactly the way I deer hunt. You sit there, you give it about
a good comparison.
You give it about 20 minutes, and then you're out. You don't want to do it anymore. But it was fun. It was really my first time doing that specifically. So to hear you put your little, I don't even know what it was,
my little Bose speaker,
your little portable Bose speaker out in the middle of the field, and use your call app for that. That was pretty fun. So after that, we decided to put the guns away and go shed hunting, and we walked damn near the whole property and nothing.
Well, now we did not find a shed, and I've been shed hunting dozens of times. I've found less than 5 sheds. I have a friend who will go to Missouri or Iowa and will pick up 40 sheds in a weekend.
Yeah.
Come home. A little frustrating, but that's kind of my MO when it comes to shed hunting. But we did get some ridiculous information off of our lease.
Yeah, 100%.
Just walking in the woods, and again, we got our lease back in July. It was as thick as it was going to be all year long, so we really didn't get a push in at all.
Yep.
There are just mud trails and highways running through our lease. I'm not so sure we have deer staying on us. To me, it looks like they're passing through.
Yeah, we didn't really see any defined beds or anything that we could look at. And
right. That's what, that's kind of what, those trails go off from one end of our property and through it and off the other side. And so I really think that they just kind of come through our place. That doesn't mean they don't stay there for a little while.
Sure.
But there's also no food. We had beans, very little food left on the ground. Not a lot of oak trees on our place. So not a lot of food, not a lot of reason to stay there. But, we've identified some really great areas to hunt next year.
Just by the looks of it and what we saw this past season, it almost feels like we're not even we haven't even hunted the best area of our property yet. When we got down in that bottom and just the amount of traffic that's going through there compared to like the perimeter, for example, we all know we have to be in there. So now it's just a matter of clearing it out and getting set up.
Right. I've used like a weed eater with a circular saw blade on it before. It was a friend's that I borrowed, and I think we need to. I need to buy one of those because I've got plenty of use for that. But it's not so much that we know now where we need to be. It's more getting there.
Yeah.
How are we going to get there in middle of October or, end of September?
Because we're expecting corn this year.
Yeah, we expect corn to be planted.
And the way our property lays out, getting to those specific areas we're talking about, it's
going to be tough.
It is tough.
So we need to cut trails as, just the path of least resistance right to the trees that we've kind of identified. Some of them are still going to be tough.
Yeah.
But then the dilemma is, when do I hang these stands? So, when should we hang them? As part of the TSSA, they say remove your stands and check them and then put them up later in the year. I'm 100% on board with that. We did take them down, most of them.
Yep.
Those that we didn't, we will check and we'll inspect before we get in them. But I'm really thinking sometime around turkey season, before the crops get planted, we do this work we're talking about, and we hang these stands and we just let them sit. There's no real reason to go back in there after turkey season, check some cameras or whatever. But I think we need to get to work here in short order. And it's kind of nice, I think, go down there, maybe turkey hunt, and then do 5 or 6 hours of work.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you've talked to a couple guys in that area, in the part of Indiana we're at, and there are turkeys everywhere. And for whatever reason, there's kind of like a mile radius around where our property's at, where the guys just don't see a lot of turkeys. And they've told us that before, so I don't know how high my expectations are for turkey season this year, but, we'll give it a shot.
Well, the best case scenario then would be it's less than a mile down the road to public land.
Yeah.
And we know they're loaded up in there.
Yeah.
And
we also surprisingly, not a lot. We don't see a lot of guys down there ever.
Because that hill is straight up and down.
And it's a ton of acreage.
Yeah, and I think there's people. I just think it's unappealing to walk in there.
Right.
But we'll give that a shot, and or we'll just put the kayaks in, and paddle up a little bit, or your boat.
Yeah.
Paddle up a little bit and get in some ground that's not accessible.
Yeah.
And once we hear a gobble, we just get up and walk up.
Any reason to get the boat out of the garage?
Yeah,
we're good.
I'm all for that. So that's, I guess we've tried that, and we'll get back out there in the next couple of weeks. We need to put some minerals out, some cameras and some minerals, and get all that kind of stuff. And then I need to go down to Kentucky, kind of do the same thing.
Yep.
So looking forward to it, but man, I am ready to be outside. It's
yesterday
50 today.
Yesterday.
Well, daylight savings time too.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of me getting old too. 2 weeks ago, I literally at 7:30 in the evening, I would be like, just get to 8:30, 8:45, and then you wouldn't be embarrassed to go to bed. Then just go to bed. Last night it's like 8:45, 9, just starting to get dark, and I was like, I feel great. I feel like doing something outside all of a sudden.
Is daylight savings time necessary for us here in Indiana?
I like it. Do you not like it?
I don't. It doesn't. I just saw a conversation. People were debating it, and I was just kind of going, I don't care. People that
don't like daylight savings, they're thrown off by adding and subtracting 1. It kills them.
Well, what throws me is the appliances that don't switch. My phone switches automatically. My SUV does not switch automatically. So I was running errands Sunday morning, and I'm thinking I looked and I go, it's not 10:30. I just looked at my phone. I feel like a half an hour ago it said it was 11. And then I had a moment of clarity. I was like, okay.
Here's the only thing about daylight savings. I was just telling Bobby a little bit ago. It does affect me tired-wise. For some reason, I'm not getting up like I usually do. But I get it. That's fine. I'll endure that. To have it light until almost 10, and people are like, Connor's nodding his head. People are like, well, the deer hunting back in the farmer days is what. I'm like, no, look, it's not about the farmers. It's about just being outside. It's about cutting your grass. It's about playing tennis. It's about playing golf. It's about taking a walk with your dog,
in the outdoors.
Your kids.
Yep.
It's just about being outside. I see no downside to it. In fact, somebody goes, well, Florida doesn't like it, and they're getting ready to do without it. No, they're getting ready to stay on daylight savings.
Just that's their permanent schedule.
Right. They're getting ready to
they're not going
change
back
anymore. Yeah. They're saying we saw the light.
Literally.
Pretty sure Disney World likes it to be a little bit lighter, a little bit later.
What incentive would Disney World have to be lighter later?
They don't generate anything. So something else. Here's a good topic. I'm a documentary guy. We've talked about some good documentaries. And I have seen, and now it's kind of it's a little bit of a buzz right now. Pretty good one is this Free Solo documentary. Okay. Have you seen it?
I've not seen it yet.
Okay. You need to watch it. It's Alex Honnold, and he free solo climbs El Capitan in Yosemite. And free soloing is climbing this 3,500 rock face, which is just granite, with nothing and nobody, no ropes, no clips, no safety net, no parachute, and no assistance, no help. And he climbs it from beginning to end in less than 4 hours. And it's just, in my opinion, the greatest single day achievement I can think of.
It's crazy because if you don't, like, I'm a good example of this. I don't fully understand what that even means, so I can't understand the greatness of it. And without seeing the documentary, it makes it really hard. But you were talking, and I think it was a scene from the documentary when he was, spoiler alert, I guess.
Well, he's still alive, so everybody should. You can watch the movie and know that he makes it.
Yeah, and when he came up over the edge, and there were tourists just kind of hanging out there, and they couldn't even.
That's a great story.
They couldn't even understand what just happened. That's kind of how I feel trying to picture it in my brain.
Yeah, well, he tells a story, and I don't know if it was on Half Dome, which is another rock face there in Yosemite. I don't know if he climbs Half Dome. He says on a whim, just with no preparation. He's like, I'm just going to see what it's like. And he got to the top, but he said in particular, to where he's about a third of the way from the top, he hits a kind of a part where he's not comfortable. Okay, and I'm going to guess 2,500 feet off the ground with nothing keeping him on this rock except his hands and his feet. And he said, I had to sit there for a while, and he was a little panicky. And he said, I had to stand up on my right foot on basically just not a ledge, just like an indentation or something. He said, I just couldn't do it. And he wasn't finally, I had no choice. He said, and I could hear tourists at the top just laughing and, carrying on. They couldn't see down where he was. They had no idea he was coming, but he could hear them laughing. And he said, finally, I did it. I just trusted it. And I stood up and I go to the top. And he said, most of the time when climbers will reach the summit, they come over the top with clips and a belt and ropes around their neck and stuff. And people always come up to them and they're like, oh my God, that's awesome. That's just so hardcore, man. That's awesome. And he said, I come up in just a t-shirt and some shorts and I just walk away. And they're looking at me like, what'd you do, dummy? Did you fall over or something? They just thought he was a hiker.
They couldn't even comprehend that he came.
They didn't even conceive the fact that he just climbed up like that. And then the funny part is he started to go down the trail out of the back and took his tight shoes off. I guess he uses just really tight shoes, climbing shoes. He goes, I took those off and I'm walking down the trail and people are stopping going, oh my God, you're hiking barefoot? That is badass.
That's so hardcore.
He said it was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, the El Cap thing is just, I've always thought the greatest athletic achievement that I could think of in a single day. I'd love to hear you guys, if you have an opinion, that you could have would be to win the Indy 500 and the NASCAR race in the same day. Okay. Now I'm talking about a single day event. So, you guys, we're going to throw Jim Thorpe or Jesse Owens and stuff, happened over the course of several days during the Olympics. I get that. I can't think of a single day achievement greater than what I saw this kid do on climbing El Capitan by himself with no ropes. It's that amazing.
Well, I need to watch a documentary, obviously.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm having a hard time arguing with you because nothing is immediately jumping out to me.
You guys think of anything?
There's not too many things that you can do 2 times in a day. Like, games one day and that's it.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, so here, let's bring this kind of full circle. These people that are listening are like, yeah, well, what's that have to do with this? So what's the hunting achievement? What's the equivalent in the hunting industry realm, not industry, of what he's done? What's the single greatest day in hunting look like? God. And here's what I've thought of. It's person specific.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
But it also has to have some elements of what he's done. So is his life is it worth risking your life? No. So I don't think you have to risk your life literally to the extent he did.
But there are guys that do that out west in the mountains, and they get a goat tag, and that stuff is not a walk in the park.
Well, I think that's where we're headed. I think that's what kind of, for me personally, and again, you take it into to what you find impressive because it's all about yourself. And he would say the same thing. He was like, this is just what he wanted to do.
Right.
And then when he talked about Half Dome, I didn't finish my story, but when he talked about Half Dome, he said when he got done, he said, I had no feeling of achievement at all. He had failed. He said, because I got scared, I did not experience mastery that day.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. So then he set out to do El Cap, and it took him, a couple of years and a full year of preparation of memorizing. Literally, he can walk you through each thumb hold, every single movement he made for 3,500 feet. He can walk you through that. That was his personal quest. So what would a personal quest look like for hunting? For me, it's got to have some real pain / suffering to get to it. So a goat hunt, a ram, some sort of a doll sheep up in the mountains that would require 3 or 4 days to get there, packing in your food, your tent, and then being successful. I don't think the weapon matters to me, but that's probably the equivalent in my eyes of that kind of an achievement. I would almost feel like, okay, did it. I mean, I don't know what else I could do. Grizzly bears come to mind because of the danger thing. I'm kind of infatuated with grizzly bears.
I feel like
I just don't want to kill one. I just don't. I don't
know why. The danger thing
but
to me seems like it would have more weight to it than just the hardship of the hunt itself. Just because, people do. Cam Hanes comes to mind. People love Cam Hanes. People hate Cam Hanes for some reason. But you cannot ignore the fact the guy is a freak athlete and his work ethic is insane. Anyone who runs 200 miles at a time, that's insane.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, those things you can train your body for. And some people, like myself included, choose not to have a level of physical exertion that high. But guys like Cam Hanes, and there's a whole subset of hunters and backcountry guys that want to do that. And it takes a long time, but you can train your body to get used to those things on some level and accomplish those things. A wild grizzly bear is you can't train for that. That level of danger it's apparent in Mother Nature, and it's either going to be there or it's not. So that kind of wild card factor to me is more appealing.
So the danger?
Yeah.
So what's dangerous about being around a grizzly bear? And I don't have being around. That's what I want to do. I just want to be in the presence of a grizzly bear. So I'm guessing 100 yards. Most experts, I'm not, would say that's legit. If
they can cover 100 yards. They're
right. And so I really would I would love to take pictures of a grizzly bear. I have no desire to shoot one. I'm good with anybody else that wants to.
I can agree with that, though,
obviously.
because just putting yourself in that scenario, whatever the goal is, whether it's just to take pictures, whether it's to actually kill it as a trophy, whatever you want to do, to me is irrelevant. Just being in that dangerous scenario and experiencing that and basically coming out of it alive it would give me more of a rush than just, kicking my ass over seven days hiking and getting somewhere really hard. I don't know. That's just kind of how I...
Yeah, I guess I like the suffer part. I like the grueling part of it. I don't like it. It appeals to me, So, we've brought up or we've talked about our little Grand Canyon trip.
Yeah.
I'm on the verge of making some decisions to ensure that I'm in that kind of condition.
You almost have to, yeah.
Because Cam Hanes is near my age. I'm 53. I don't think he's
a little
50.
bit young. Yeah, he's a little bit younger than you,
but
he's there.
Yeah, he's right there. He's got some gray hair. I don't want to commit to anything, so I can't go much further. But yeah, I'm on the verge of saying, and we've got a year and 13 months basically to prepare, and we're going to do the Grand Canyon, Antelope, Zion, Bryce, Death Valley, Yosemite, which I want to do El Cap, just the hike up the back. So to do those things, I'll be 55 then.
There's a certain level of physical fitness you have to be in. Even just to enjoy them, because you could say you like the pain and suffering all you want, but it also it sucks while you're going through it.
Oh, it does.
And it definitely, we've had the conversation before, you and I, where you say just the thoughts going through your brain as you're going through it, it's not enjoyable at that specific moment.
Right.
But the whole experience overall becomes a memory and something worthwhile.
But I think it's going to take more of a commitment on at least my end to enjoy that trip.
Sure.
Because I don't want to do one hike and then kind of just peter out a little bit, so to speak. So let's talk about the survey.
Yeah.
We are sending out a survey, and I'm going to talk in generic terms and I'm going to assume not everybody that hunts is going to listen to our podcast or hear us. But since I started here, which is a little over 5 years ago now, there's never been any definitive metrics taken on the hunting lease industry. The attitudes toward leasing, I think they've changed. So we've created a survey. It's a hunter access survey. The questions are asked in a very generic / objective manner. And we want legitimate statistics and metrics on how many hunters do lease.
Right.
What are have your attitudes about it changed over the last 5 years? Do you mentor young hunters? How do you access your hunting property? How do you think you'll access hunting property in the future? All those type things. It takes less than 4 minutes, 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. And we're going to start pushing it out. And we would encourage, really almost beg you to take this survey and give us your honest feedback. And if you do, then we will donate $1 to one of 4 charities you can choose.
Yep.
So our charity / our non-for-profits are the Tree Stand Safety Awareness Initiative, which we're very involved in and very passionate about. The Ducks Unlimited, Catch a Dream, which takes terminally ill children on their hunt of a lifetime, which I needs really no help on my part to promote it, but man, what a terrific job they do. And then the last one is our own foundation, the American Hunting Lease Foundation, which is working to secure access for groups like Catch a Dream.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, if you'll take the survey, and then at the end, the last question is, which of these 4 charities would you like for us to donate $1 to on your behalf? And we will do that up to 10,000. So I would love to get 10,000 responses.
Yep. That
would be just terrific survey and sampling of information that we could then actually create and make some sort of, I won't say predictions, but projections, and we can use those for the benefit of everybody that hunts.
Right. The survey, we've put a lot of work into it because we wanted to make it, we didn't want to craft questions in a way that would give pro leasing answers. Obviously we're pro leasing. We're not going to sit here and say that we're not. But there's a lot of knowledge in getting people's true opinions. And if we get 10,000 survey responses and it's split down the middle versus pro and anti-leasing, we're going to take that information and we're going to put it out there and we're going to publish it for everybody to see, because as long as we're having the conversation around what is helping and hurting the hunting industry, leases, access, whatever you want to call it, then that's where the conversation can start. And that's what our entire goal is. Our partners, we had Sean Curran on from Sportsman's Alliance, I think episode 2, and he talked about death by 1,000 cuts. And basically all these anti-hunting organizations with huge banks behind them are able to, or bank accounts, I should say, behind them are able to just attack little things and take a side door in and, try to dismantle everything that, we've worked for, we're passionate about, whatever you want to call it. And Sportsman's Alliance themselves, they have a petition going now. You just put your name and email address and you sign it, and it's to save hunting, basically. And then also on Sportsman's Alliance homepage is the National Shooting Sports Foundation. They are doing a campaign. Basically, it's called, I think, +1 campaign, and it's a mentorship program. And
nice.
Yes.
I've not heard of that.
So, and we'll put a link to it in the episode description. But you take what Sportsman's Alliance is doing on a huge level, and the National Shooting Sports Foundation with this +1 program, and then to me, this survey kind of fits nicely in with what they're doing. They're not connected at all, and we've not discussed doing this with either of them, but it kind of gives it a holistic approach to. They're doing their part, they're doing their part, and our part is to get as much information as where we truly stand as a hunting industry. And obviously, we're calling it the Hunter Access Survey because our position is access will preserve hunting for decades to come. And if that access is gone, if a landowner sells off a property and a builder buys it and puts a parking lot there or a mall there, no one's ever hunting that again. So, it's hard to kind of make... For some guys, it's hard to see the difference between I don't have access, period, or I don't someone else has access to that property I want access to.
Right.
The access still exists. You just may not have it, but that piece of land is still in our industry. It's huntable, and that's what the goal is.
I agree. And we're going to talk about the National Deer Alliance here for just a second, but there's nobody when we look at this survey that we brought up, it seems like 100 times, down 2 million hunters in a 5-year period, and everybody says one of the problems is hunter access. One of them is hunter. How do you know?
Right.
You know, how do you know? Nobody. Look, there are QDMA and the NDA and Whitetails Unlimited, and those are all involved in deer management to some degree. Mm-hmm. So the game is getting supported. Those numbers, we know them. You've surveyed those numbers. The NWTF is big in habitat conservation. They've done research on habitat conservation. To my knowledge, nobody's done a national survey on hunting leases, the effect leasing has on the industry. You know, I don't want to say, because I don't want to sway anything, but that's our job. As the leaders of this industry, it is not our job. It's our responsibility to get the numbers and the metrics that we can, and then publish them, report on them, and say this is what we're doing.
Exactly. And that's why we took the Fish and Wildlife survey from 2016, and we tried to craft the questions in this survey to not be the same as this, but to really try to focus on access and what type of hunting people do, so that we can come to some answer. I don't know what the results are going to be, but we have to try to figure something out. And with one report every 4 years, as good as this report is, it's only every 4 or 5 years, and we both feel like that's maybe just not enough. And we want to help and do our part, and a collaborative effort with some of our partners here who are putting the survey out with us, and just get as much information as we possibly can. Yeah,
my biggest concern is that the leaders / politicians that make these decisions will do so with an incomplete picture if we don't do this survey.
Right.
So, hey, we don't have to be involved at the very end in making policy.
Nope.
But I would like to be involved to the point where, hey, we got the information for you. Here's what it is. Here's how it reads objectively, and, kind of help shape things that way.
It literally only costs you less than 5 minutes of your time to take the survey, and we will donate to a nonprofit on your behalf.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to make a legit contribution by taking this survey.
Yep.
On at least 2 different fronts. So back to the NDA, the National Deer Alliance, we have, as of last week, agreed with the NDA to be a supporter. So we have made a contribution, or I think, frankly, the check's being cut right now. And so we will be an official supporter of the National Deer Alliance, of the work that they do. And one of those big, things that they're doing is looking at hunter access.
Yep.
So, with any luck, or if we can show some value here, then certainly we'll be involved in some of those discussions, I would hope, down the line. But we're real proud of that. The pledge to protect hunting is what that was. That's what that is with the Sportsman's Alliance. And they make a great point in this, and we ought to put this out on social too, if we haven't already. I know
they've
I know it's in our newsletter.
So we'll just share it, and then we will put the link in the
take the pledge. All you can do is go to their website and click a box. I mean, that's really
it's
about
on their
all it
it's
is.
on their homepage. It's the top thing there.
The Humane Society of the United States, which is not the Humane Society in your local shelter.
Chapter.
We get it. This is an anti-hunting group with a budget of over $150 million a year. And they have a pledge right now to stop trophy hunting. That's what their goal is to stop trophy hunting. Whether you trophy hunt or you hunt for meat, you're still hunting. And an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us, and we need to step up and say, no, I support the Sportsman's Alliance, the work they're doing, and I'm here to protect hunting. What in the world are we talking about when the word trophy is a bad thing? It's a bad thing. You got a trophy? I mean, your kids come home with a trophy?
Yeah.
Oh, that means somebody didn't get a trophy.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. I know that's been played to death, but
it is. But Brian Flynn, he wrote an article that's on the Sportsman's Alliance, a blog post that's on there about what is and what is not trophy hunting. It's a quick read. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you go read it. I'm sure you can find it on their blog, but I think there's just been a distortion around the word trophy hunting and what the intentions of trophy hunting are, just frankly, to people who don't hunt.
To people who do not hunt and
Right.
do not know what in the hell they're talking about.
Right.
You
Right.
know? So yeah,
it's, and Brian's article will go into it, but I killed my first deer, little 6-point, on my birthday 2 years ago. That's a trophy to me.
right.
Anybody else, even to the point where I got a little pissed because my mom came over. She came down from northern Indiana and visited. And she goes, "Oh, what's that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's the deer I killed." She doesn't hunt, didn't grow up hunting. She goes, "Kind of small, isn't he?" And I go, "Yeah, sure is." And but to me it was, and we've talked about this before, the feeling I got when that happened and everything I had to do leading up to that moment, and then texting you when that's all part of the experience. And every time I see that deer, I'm like, dude, that's a trophy to me.
It. Yeah.
That's it. So, we obviously stand behind the Sportsman's Alliance 100% in everything they're doing, and we're glad to be supporting them. So we'll put the link there. Just go sign the pledge. I mean, I did it today when I saw the link, and it literally took me under 30 seconds to do. They sent me a confirmation email saying, "Thank you for your support." Kind of went into what they're trying to do, and they'll just keep you abreast on all the stuff that comes up with it.
Yeah, they're good dudes for sure.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for any kind of agent or a group to support, the Sportsman's Alliance is a fantastic group. Okay, let's wrap up here with kind of a teaser.
Okay.
The zombie deer apocalypse has hit, and everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like the wolf coyote thing, the woyote or whatever.
Wyote.
The wyote we talked about in the last one. So one, I'll tell you this: I don't really understand the whole CWD thing. I don't think it's overly interesting to me.
Okay.
It's because it's so divided, and both sides of the hunting industry are.
It's really bringing out the conspiracy theorists of the
It
hunting
really is,
world.
and I don't know exactly who to believe. There are no zombie deer. Rest assured that. Okay, there's no zombies, deer coming after you. Other than that, this is a serious topic that needs to be discussed by people smarter than I am, that are more educated than I am.
100%.
So I would like to, in the next 2 or 3 episodes, have at least 2 episodes where we devote a podcast to the pro CWD crowd, that think it's a real thing, a real problem, that it needs to be solved, and then those that think it's, I'm not going to say a hoax, because the people who don't think it's a problem don't say it doesn't exist. It exists. They don't think it exists to the extent that the other side thinks it exists. That's been my take on it so far. So I think that's what we need to do next, to bring some light on.
It's always, this is anecdotal, obviously, but last season, really, when I was driving to the Lease to hunt one morning, I had to stop in a 24-hour Walmart just to, I don't even remember what I needed to get. I needed something for that day.
Tasty cake.
Something, yeah. And, the woman there working there, she saw I was wearing my hunting clothes and stuff, and she saw what I was buying. She goes, "Oh, you're going deer hunting?" I said, "Yep." She goes, "Well, you got to be careful, okay? Because my uncle back in the 70s shot a deer, and he got mad cow disease and died." So there's always,
oh boy,
and she was adamant on it, and I assured her I would be careful, and I would.
Good for you.
Yeah, so
Smart.
yeah, I put her worries to rest. But even that small situation, looking back on it, makes me laugh, because there's always been some semblance of a zombie deer.
Yeah.
Disease going around, and people are going to have small town stories, or bigger proof of whatever they believe on the topic. But like you said, it's been going on for feels like close to a year now, and a lot of different prominent guys in the industry have talked about it, and they're even divided on it. So to me, it is an interesting topic, only because I think the conversation around it is fascinating, and like I said, the conspiracy theorists around it, that's the entertaining part to me.
I will do my best to make it interesting. I promise you. If we get some people on here, I will ask them some pointed questions, and we will figure it out. Now, we're in Indiana. We have I've not been affected by this at all. If I lived in Wisconsin or, Michigan or some places that have tested positive, I probably would feel different. So we'll do the best. I'll be educated along with our listeners at the same time, and maybe we can come to some type of conclusion. I know the National Deer Alliance is working probably 80-85% of their work right now is on CWD.
Okay.
And so Nick Pinizzato is probably the first person we need to have on and explain to us what it is and where we're going from there. So what else do you have for the good of the order?
Not much.
About it.
Yeah.
Hey, we are email inserts.
Yes.
That thing works like a charm. If you buy insurance, you get your cert the next day, emailed to you. Nobody else is doing that I know of. So one last appeal. If you are, I'm just going to tell you this. Don't renew your hunting lease insurance with another company until you check us out. I guarantee you we'll keep you here.
You go to ahuntinglease.org, right there, top thing on our website. Put in your acres, how many landowners you have, and in what state. You say get a quote. It tells you the number right there. You're done in under 5 seconds, and you know.
And it's just that easy.
It is just that easy.
Right on.
All right.
See you guys next time.
See ya.